This is how two Swiss farm boys built a multi-billion-dollar watch. 1889. Jules Louis Audemars, fingers black with oil, engraves a hair-thin wheel in a cold Vallée de Joux farmhouse workshop. This is how two Swiss farm boys built a multi-billion-dollar watch. Beside him, Edward Auguste Piguet sketches new complications, oblivious to the world beyond their wooden bench. Outside, the harsh Jura wind rattles the window pane, carrying the faint scent of pine and cow manure. At that moment, nobody knew their names, nor did anyone suspect the quiet pair would forge anything more than local curiosities. Yet decades later, their creations would adorn the wrists of presidents and billionaires, becoming a global icon. This is the story of how two soot-smudged Swiss farm boys built a multi-billion-dollar watch, reinventing luxury. In 1856, in a quiet, rugged corner of the Vallée de Joux, Jules Louis Audemars first drew breath into the crisp mountain air. His was a life anchored to the earth in Le Brassus, where his father, a farmer, wrestled a living from the stubborn Swiss soil, and his mother managed the frugal household. The chill of the farmhouse floor was a constant companion, and the faint glow of an oil lamp often cast long shadows over his work, illuminating simple chores. A few years later, in 1862, in the very same valley, Edward Auguste Piguet was born into a similar world of humble means, where the rhythm of the seasons dictated life. As young boys, before their paths intertwined, they were already drawn to the intricate mechanics hidden in their isolated world. Jules, barely 10, often watched the local watchmaker in the village, mesmerized by the glint of tiny brass gears, feeling a peculiar hum of purpose within the delicate machines. There is a silent poetry in those turning wheels, he would later recall thinking. By 1870, a lanky Jules Louis Audemars, now 14, had left the family farm, seeking apprenticeship in a local watchmaking atelier. The work was often menial, cleaning benches, fetching tools, polishing cases until his fingers ached. He longed to touch the delicate movements, but for months he was relegated to the periphery, his eagerness often mistaken for impatience. But a meticulous master, Monsieur Dubois, saw the raw talent in the boy's precise hands and his unwavering focus on even the smallest screw. 2 years later, in an adjacent workshop, Edward Auguste Piguet found his own mentor, an elderly craftsman named Henri Vacheron, who taught him the secrets of the repetition minutes, the minute repeater complication. Edward excelled, his quick, intuitive mind grasping the complex interplay of levers and gongs. He learned to listen not just with his ears, but with his fingertips to the subtle imperfections in a movement's beat. By 1874, he was known for his steady hand in assembling even the most temperamental escapements. Their paths finally crossed, two kindred spirits, both brimming with nascent skill, first trusted with calibrating entire movements for a respected Geneva house. In the autumn of 1880, their young company, Audemars Piguet and Sier, faced its first real test. They had staked much on a new order for a batch of high-precision chronographs from a Parisian distributor. But the batch, delivered with meticulous care, was summarily rejected. The regulation is inconsistent, the terse telegram read. The finishing, uninspired. Jules felt a cold dread as he reread the words, staring at the pile of carefully crafted movements now deemed substandard. Edward, usually unflappable, sat in silence, the quiet workshop feeling vast and empty for 3 long months as orders evaporated. They lost a significant portion of their meager savings on the returned goods, the sting of that failure burning deep. It was a brutal lesson in the unforgiving demands of haute horlogerie. From then on, every single component would be inspected not twice, but thrice by both of them. By 1889, the lessons of that early setback had been fully absorbed, transforming their approach to an almost obsessive pursuit of perfection. In their expanded workshop in Le Brassus, amidst the rhythmic ticking of countless movements, Jules and Edward had achieved a true technical marvel. A fully integrated grand complication pocket watch. Imagine the moment a Parisian judge, at the 1889 Universal Exhibition, turned their masterpiece over in his hand, held it to his ear, and listened as the minute repeater struck the time with exquisite clarity. It chimed the hours, quarters, and minutes on demand, flawlessly indicating the day, date, month, leap year, and moon phases. all powered by a labyrinthine mechanism with over 600 tiny components. The judge, renowned for his stern demeanor, simply nodded, a rare smile gracing his lips. That year, Audemars Piguet secured a gold medal, their reputation solidified not just in Switzerland, but across the world. The Vallée de Joux suddenly felt a little less isolated. By the spring of 1930, the global economy had plummeted into the Great Depression, and the small workshop in Le Brassus felt the icy grip of scarcity. Orders for luxury watches, once a steady stream, dried to a trickle. The once bustling workbenches were quiet, tools lay still, covered in a thin film of dust. Jules and Edward were long gone, but their descendants, still deeply involved, faced the spectre of bankruptcy. Young Jacques-Louis Audemars, Jules' grandson, walked through the silent rooms, the echoes of prosperity now replaced by the unsettling quiet. He remembered his grandfather's stories of lean times, but this felt different, more profound, a global economic force threatening to extinguish the flame they had so painstakingly kept alive. He heard whispers from other valley firms. It's over for the independents. Only the mass producers will survive. Jacques-Louis stood alone amidst the silent machinery, contemplating whether to close the doors for good or bet everything on a future that seemed impossibly distant. In 1970, with the shadow of the quartz crisis looming, Audemars Piguet made an audacious, almost desperate gamble. Faced with rapidly declining sales and the threat of cheap, accurate electronic watches, the company decided to commission a revolutionary design. They called upon the visionary Gerald Genta, tasking him with creating a luxury sports watch in steel, a material previously reserved for tool watches. Genta's design was radical, an octagonal bezel secured by exposed screws, an integrated bracelet, and a level of finish unheard of for steel. When the Royal Oak was unveiled at Baselworld in 1972, the industry was aghast. Who would pay 3,300 Swiss francs for a steel watch? Critics scoffed. It was more expensive than many gold watches of the era. The price tag and its unconventional, almost brutalist aesthetic were widely derided in the trade press, a gamble many believed would surely fail. Yet, despite the initial outcry, a quiet revolution began to stir. By the early 2000s, the Royal Oak had transcended its controversial beginnings. It had become more than a watch. It was an icon, instantly recognizable on the wrists of athletes, entrepreneurs, and world leaders. Audemars Piguet, once a niche maker of complex movements, had transformed into a global powerhouse, its valuation soaring into the multi-billions. The brand's market cap today is a testament to the enduring power of that bold decision. Jules Louis Audemars and Edward Auguste Piguet, the Farmboys from the Vallée de Joux, would likely marvel at the empire built from their delicate gears. Their initial ambition, whispered between turns of a tiny screw, has resonated across centuries, proving that true innovation, born from humble hands and audacious spirit, can indeed build a multi-billion-dollar legacy. What began in a rustic farmhouse workshop in 1875, founded by two young men with an unshakable belief in the pinnacle of horological artistry, was never just about telling time. It was about pushing the boundaries of what a watch could be. Jules Louis Audemars and Edward Auguste Piguet laid the bedrock with grand complications and uncompromising quality, earning accolades that foreshadowed their future. For generations, their successors weathered economic storms, wars, and the existential threat of the quartz crisis, always returning to that foundational spirit of audacious innovation. The turning point, of course, was the 1972 Royal Oak, a steel watch, priced like gold, designed with a brutalist elegance that shocked the industry. It was a gamble that paid off, reinventing the very definition of luxury watchmaking and catapulting Audemars Piguet from esteemed manufacturer to global icon. Today, the octagonal bezel and integrated bracelet of the Royal Oak are instantly recognizable, gracing the wrists of the world's most influential. From athletes to presidents to billionaires, a testament to a vision born in the rural Swiss mountains. Audemars Piguet not only survived the storms of history, but reinvented luxury watchmaking, proving that bold design and uncompromising quality can transcend generations. The meticulous pursuit of perfection, the courage to challenge convention, these are the threads that connect a muddy Vallée de Joux workshop to the multi-billion-dollar empire we know today. What was lost were the quiet, anonymous lives of simple artisans. What survived was a defiant, enduring legend forged in steel and gold. If this journey from a rustic workshop to the pinnacle of luxury resonated with you, if you found yourself captivated by the blend of history, innovation, and sheer audacity that built Audemars Piguet, hitting the like button truly makes a difference. It's a simple click, but it tells YouTube that stories like these, about how real passion and relentless craft build enduring legacies, deserve to be seen by more people who appreciate the depth behind the shine. And if you want to explore more chapters from the untold stories of ingenuity and legacy, subscribe to the channel right now.